Good evening, everybody. Another season is upon us. Yes, the 24-25 Premier League season is upon us, and what an opening day we're going to be having. And, well, welcome back to the new boys, Ipswich Town, as they face Liverpool at Portman Road. Saturday lunchtime, yes, we haven't got away from the 12:30s, but anyway, I hope everyone is well. Please do remember to smash the like. Please do remember to hit that subscribe button as well. And I'm delighted to say that we have a very, very special guest. We have Yam Yam Kelly. How are you doing? And first of all, welcome back to the Premier League.
Yes, mate. So I'm good, Doug. Thank you for inviting me on the channel, and I am buzzing. Although we sit today on Thursday, and I'm starting to feel a little bit nervous. But yeah, back in the Premier League, 22 years ago. I was saying to you, we had a chat yesterday, and I was saying yesterday, last time I was in the Prem, I barely had a beard. Now it's going grey. So it tells you how long it's been. But yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm excited. Well overdue, and looking forward to ticking off some new grounds and seeing some of some world-class players at Portman Road.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we were obviously speaking up last night, and I was actually only, I think, 11 by the time Ipswich went down back in 2001, 2002. So it has been a long, long time, but it is very, very good to see you guys back. And I've got to say, I've been looking.
I'm not sure.
I mean, Kieran Mckenna came in when it was League One. Did you ever envisage then you would have back-to-back promotions?
Yeah, sorry, I think it might be my connection, but it dropped a little. I think I got most of what you're saying there, but in terms of when KM come in, so I think with Ipswich, what you've got to remember, and I'm just going to be very brief, but I'm going to have to take you back to 22 years ago when we were relegated from the Prem. Reason from that is we got relegated, and these parachute payments that clubs have, which is why we see a lot of yo-yo teams that go up and down between the leagues. The TV deal at the time had gone bust, so there was no parachute payments for those relegated clubs.
Yeah,
we were a victim of, we had a passionate chairman that wanted to invest, probably disrupted the squad in our second season with some so-called bigger name signings. And as a result, dropping out, that caused us going to administration. We sold some of our best players like Matt Holland, Darren Bent, Darren Ambrose, Herman Ryderson, who were real kind of star players for us in that season where we finished fifth. And yeah, then there was an ongoing joke about how we stagnated in the champ. Once we went into administration, we eventually then got bought out by a businessman called Marcus Evans based in London. For the first 6-7 years, we didn't know what he looked like. He never spoke to the media or anything like that. And he tried the kind of big appointment, if you like. So we did appoint Roy Keane, and that was after he'd won the league with Sunderland. But then after that, and aside from under Mick McCarthy, who again saved us from going down into League One when he joined, we had one good chance at going up. I think it was 15-16 or 16-17. But there was no investment in January. We went and got, and that was the kind of Marcus Evans way of transfer policy. It was go and shop at Poundland, right, in the bargain basement. And you're not going to get promoted to the Premier League on that. So then Game Changer 20 have come in. They've bought the club and they've invested into the club massively. And it's not just the playing staff. So in League One, we were having players like Sammy Morsey. We signed him from Middlesbrough, proven championship player. Connor Chaplin, we signed him from Barnsley, who were in the championship at the time. We brought in Paul Cook, who did a fantastic job at Wigan before they had their financial difficulties. But it just didn't seem to click with Cookie and some of these players. And then when Mckenna come in, we finished 11th in his first season. So he come in on December 16th or December 17th. He come in, and that season we finished 11th. Then his first full season, we smashed the league. And people forget this. They think we actually won League One. We actually finished second to Plymouth. Plymouth were amazing that season as well. But there was a point around January where Sheffield Wednesday were far ahead of it. and they ended up finishing third and going up in the playoffs. So then we go into the championship. We always felt we had players that had played at the championship level and championship quality. I always thought we would have a good go, and like on one of the last like there was like a game day vlog on one of these Ipswich channels when we went up in League One. I kind of half-heartedly said, we might have back-to-back promotions like the following season. Now, when I'm saying that, I didn't think we'd finish second. I thought we might be looking at sixth and do a playoff job or something like that. But it just goes to show, because Kieran McKenna is, and people might think I've got blue tinted glasses here and all the rest of it, but he is, I was going to say best British manager, but I think he's actually the best young manager in the game. Like, there isn't too many better than him. We've had players that you would think are, and this is no disrespect to him, but we had a player that we signed from Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Right. So we signed Accrington Stanley. He was actually one of the League One defenders of the season in Cameron Burgess. When he was playing under the previous manager, Cook, he looked like a League One defender. Last season, one of our best players, and defensively, we missed him when he wasn't there. He gets the best out of people. Amari Hutchinson last season in the Championship then. So Amari, I think he played maybe a couple of cup minutes or something for Chelsea, but he'd never played men's football at that level properly. He'd always been under 21s or under 23s or whatever they call it. And I think he scores his first goal against Southampton away, a big game, where he wins the ball. He actually comes in nice sliding tackle, wins the ball, scores it, and that's 1-0 and 3 points against Southampton. And he kind of just kicked on, and the more he was getting coached, the better he was getting. And I don't know how much of the Championship your viewers watch, but one of the games of the Championship last season that many people would talk about was, and we actually drew it, was away at Hull City, 3-3.
Yeah.
Amari was different class, and his 2 goals that night, you're talking about levels of a player that hasn't played at men's football before. He'll be one of our standouts for this season for sure. So, we went kind of beyond that expectation, but you could see it was happening. And throughout the whole time, we had Ipswich are going to fall away, Ipswich are going to fall away, Ipswich are going to fall away, plucky little Ipswich. And it was like, but everyone's saying how brilliant Leicester are doing, but we're just behind them. We're breathing down their neck. And as it so happened, Leicester, with all the investment they had, bearing in mind up until this transfer window, or when we signed Amari Hutchinson, our biggest transfer fee was when we was last in the Premier League for £5 million for Matteo Serini. So that was like 22 years ago. We hadn't had that investment. We hadn't had that squad, but we've got a group of really committed players, plus the coaching staff. And now what we're seeing in the Premier League is we've actually got the investment. We've got backing. Now, we're not going to be spending like your Man Cities and stuff like that. And obviously with FFP and all the restrictions we've got. But it's genuinely one of those where I think we'll do well, and I think we're going to surprise a lot of teams, and we'll be a lot of people's second team. There'll be a lot of there'll be a lot of shirt sales, I think, this season from all around the world.
Yeah, look, I've got to say, I'm just so happy to see you guys back up, because it has been a while. We've obviously, we've seen Nottingham Forest come back up. We've seen, it was Burnley, go back up and then go back down. We've seen Sheffield United go back up and then go back down. We've also had Huddersfield Town as well. It's just, if anyone knows the history of obviously like Ipswich Town, obviously you were UEFA Cup winners. It was one of those Sir Bobby Robson days. I think everyone sort of remembers. Unfortunately I wasn't alive when obviously Sir Bobby Robson was Ipswich manager, but that team with George Burley, I can really sort of vaguely remember it. I can vaguely remember the sort of Marcus Stewart, Marcus Bent. You had some really, really good players then. I've been looking at obviously your team now, and one thing I will say, I think you have bought really well in this window. And actually, just before obviously I move on, Ipswich have potentially made a loan signing. Now, Calvin Phillips, what's your thoughts? Because a lot of people, it's one that's really raised a lot of eyebrows getting Calvin Phillips, but I've got to say, getting a player like that, Premier League experience, that could really help you.
So, yeah, quality player. So we need additional legs in midfield as well. So it's a position we needed to recruit. It was a position definitely I thought we were light in. From what I understand, so I'm not surprised by the thing, because there's been a few murmurs or whatever over the past couple of weeks that he's met with Ashton and Mckenna and stuff like that. So there's been all these kind of things that is floating around. So what we have to remember, and this is the thing about Ipswich from now to the last 15, 20 years, it's not just the investment on the pitch, it's behind the scenes. We have a setup.
Yeah.
So before we had an owner and one man and his dog doing everything, right? So now you have a CEO, you have a COO who also helps run the operations, you have a recruitment team, you have full medical team. We've had a lot of investment in our training ground and stuff like that. And what we've seen in League One and Championship with the deals we've got, we know that our CEO Mark Ashton is but at the very least a very good negotiator. So and when you combine him and Kieran Mckenna and this project of Ipswich, because Ipswich is it's going to sound, I'm not, and we're nowhere near like your Liverpools and the other team in red that begins with an M that I won't mention on this channel. But yeah, we're not obviously, I appreciate we've had success in the 60s, 70s and 80s, but we've got a massive fan base. And what you have to realise, so Ipswich, the county of Suffolk, our nearest rivals are Norwich. That's about 30, 40 miles. There's so many. If you look at Liverpool itself, you've got two clubs in the same city, right? The support and fan base is phenomenal. We were selling out stadiums in League One. Trying to get an away ticket in the Championship and League One, it was always going to be hard. And, we'll just continue to do that. So the fan base is there, the support's there. And I do feel that we are a sleeping giant. We just need to really consolidate. And you've got that project. And Ashton, Mckenna, selling that, they talk about, we always look for the right type of players. And Mckenna calls it profiles. It's not just about the ability. You can't have egos. We've got this tagline called running towards adversity, because our kind of our fund comes from this Arizona pension fund with the firefighters. So it's all about running to adversity, thinking about that, and it's on the back of the shirts. And there's just something that's changed. Last 3 years, it's been, 3 years ago, well, it would have been last week, but 3 years ago, we kicked off a League One campaign under Game Changer, the new regime, against Morecambe at home, which we just about salvaged a 2-2 draw. That same season, we go to Barrow away and lose in the FA Cup. And then last season, we're going to Leicester and getting a result. We're going to Southampton, getting a result. Leeds battered us both games, but we're going to these established Championship teams, playing them off the park. And now we're going to the Premier League, and we're here. We're not going, we're here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the very, very good about it as well. Look, you have got a very tough start. Obviously, you have got ourselves and Manchester City to begin. But if you want to get those two out of the way, it's better to get them out of the way first and second. But let's say hello to a few people, because I have kind of avoided the chat, so I do apologise. So, hello, Rennie. I am very, very well, my friend. I hope you are well as well. I've got to say, I think it's a tough season for Leicester. I think it'll be a very, very tough season as well. I did see you are wanting Adam Holoshek from Bayer Leverkusen as well. Oops, comment just right off there. Chris Horse, hello, big up, lads. Hope you are well. I'm yet to see a win for my local team yet, so I hope my second team, Liverpool, could get a win. Yeah, it's not been a good start to the season for Carlisle, let me just say that, Chris. But anything else? Yes, hello, Hannah. Hope you're well. Evening all. Back-to-back promotions is an incredible achievement. It is unbelievable achievement. Absolutely unbelievable achievement. Gary says, tally all. Hello, Gary. Hope you're well. Chris has asked, have Ipswich got the squad to cope with injuries when injuries do come? We saw how it affected Luton when they got injuries.
So the key thing that's been lacking from this transfer window has been Premier League experience. So We recruited Ben Johnson, who's been ad hoc, a sporadic player for West Ham. Good, and from again preseason looks really good. And we had Muric from Burnley, but again he didn't play too much as well. So we didn't really have that experience. So 1 to 11, yes, we're good, but we don't have a massive squad anyway, and we didn't last season and the season before. And actually, the area where we are really light is now up front, because we've got a couple of strikers that were kind of on the fringes last season, and obviously we've signed the lap, but our kind of main striker, George Hurst, he's out for a while with an injury. He actually had an injury last year at Boxing Day, and what happened is, not that injuries can never happen at the right time, but it happened just before the transfer window, and we went out and got Kiefer Moore on loan and was able to kind of carry on from there. So it entirely depends on injury. Touch wood, we've been fortunate with that. And also recovery seems to be well, like where players have been out with certain injuries and you think it might be 6 to 8 weeks, they're back in 4 weeks or something like that, and not being affected. If we do get some major injuries, so our captain Sammy Morsey, he's the heartbeat of the team. He makes us tick. If he's out, and he does get a few yellow cards, he's had a few suspensions, but he also knows how to run that, like the tightrope. So, he's had it where he's had 10 yellow cards, so we had to have a 2-game ban, and then it was coming up to 15, and then for 2 seasons in a row, he played like 10 games without getting a single yellow, and managed to just manage himself and do that. So he's got that discipline. But when he's been out, and he's never had a game never missed a game through injury. So what it has been, it's been suspension. We don't look the same. If Leif Davis is going to miss a game, we've obviously signed Townsend. Was it Townsend? We signed from Connor Townsend, I think.
Connor Townsend, from West Brom.
Yeah, so we signed him as backup. He looks okay. He's had some minutes as well, but Leif Davis is your main man. That's going to get you assists, and also defensively very solid. Very similar. I think Liverpool fans, aside from Saturday, when they start watching, if they do see Ipswich, they'll see similarities, because we use our wing backs a lot, like you use with Trent and with Robertson. We use the same. Davis is an assist king last season and in League One, and Hutchinson. I think if he's out for any long time, I've been calling him Starboy for a while now, and he really is, because he runs at players. He's got a trick on him, but he doesn't do a trick for the sake of it. It's and he's got an end product. He can cross, he can pass, and I think he's left-footed, but he can do it as well with his right. So he's really a exciting player. But to answer the question, sorry, those kind of 3 major starters go out, I think we do struggle. For 1 or 2 games, we have people that can step in, but any prolonged period of time, I think that's where we'd struggle.
Very, very interesting. And obviously, Carlton Phillips is a interesting signing. Let's say hello, Rich. Hope you're well. Bugger Douglas guest in chat. Hello. Imagine Ipswich can win the Premier League title just like Leicester in 2015-2016.
Don't, because I've had dreams about Ipswich getting bought and had a takeover and investment. It happened. I had dreams about Ipswich will get promoted up the leagues in back-to-back successive seasons. It's happened. Now I've had a dream we're going to win the Premier League. So I don't know, not this season, obviously, but
Rich, the answer to this is yes. I think Ipswich can stay up.
Yeah, I'm backing us. I don't know.
Of the other 2 that are in at the moment, Ipswich look like the more stability. They've got more stability about them. Southampton have had a bit of a change with obviously Russell Martin. Leicester are definitely a team in transition, especially with Steve Cooper in charge as well. But I think Ipswich are the more solid of the 3, I would say. So for me, I think Ipswich are staying up. Anyway, Mckenna has a good start to the season. Are you worried you could get snatched away from the bigger clubs during the season? Well, you speak of that, Chris. There was talk potentially at the start of the summer that Mckenna was potentially going to move on. Now, obviously, Brighton were linked with him, Chelsea were linked with him, and even Manchester United were linked with him. But fair play to Kieran McKenna. He wanted to stay at Ipswich, and it must have been a bit of a relief, Callie, when you actually saw that he signed a new contract.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to say I was never in doubt, because it's football and things can change.
Yeah.
last season in the champ, there was Palace who approached him. He turned that down. And it was the same thing here. So Brighton was a legitimate offer that was made. Chelsea the same. The United thing, I think it was more an expression of it. I don't know whether, or actually no, he might have been asked to interview or interviewed. But I don't think there was ever. I think when he just needed that commitment from the club. So we tied him down, and it's a whole project. So if he's to go to, and he's a boyhood Man United fan, so yes, he will manage Man United one day, right?
Yeah.
And I have no doubts about it that Kieran Mckenna one day will win the Champions League with some team, right? He is that good of a manager. But now wouldn't be the right time because the pressure from a Chelsea, Chelsea change their managers, every season more or less. United haven't found the right mix since Fergie's gone, and they spent a silly amount of money with very minimum return. So you're putting yourself up against unnecessary pressure. So if the same was to happen this season, he starts well, and say Ten Hag has a bad thing, will he go? I don't see it, because I think not a free hit, but whatever happens this season, I think you can look at Vincent Kompany. Burnley were pretty awful last season in the Premier League, and he just got a job at Bayern Munich. Now, and then just on the Burnley thing very quickly as well, people might draw the comparison of us to Burnley and all the rest of it. The difference there, and this isn't any shade or anything at Burnley or whatever, or Vincent Kompany, but they only knew one way of playing football. It was dominating the game. If you look at our stats last season, apart from the lower teams and the mid teams, when we was going up against the so-called top six in the Championship, we weren't necessarily dominating possession. We had a plan B. We had a plan C.
Yeah.
So, I think, and people have to remember, whilst McKenna's a young manager, he's been a coach for a very long time. And he's learned from people like Jose and Ollie and people like that as well.
Yeah, no, he really, really has. Chris has asked us, if you could take one player from Liverpool, only one, realistically, to improve Ipswich, who would it be and why?
I'm just going to say, because I think he's one of the best players in the world, Mohamed Salah. Just because you can never score enough goals. And, on his day, he's a world beater. And his day is more or less most days anyway. But yeah, Mo Salah. I mean, I could pick anyone really, to be honest. It's such, and it's the exciting kind of scary thing is like you're going to be playing up against these players. I'm a fan of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's going to be at Ipswich, and we've got to shut him down and stop his crosses. And it's very interesting. Mo Salah.
Rich, I'll be honest, it is practically the same sort of squad that we've got. The only real players have really gone out, Matip and Thiago. I think they're the two biggies. Obviously, I know Carvalho's gone to Brentford. I know Bobby Clark has obviously gone to Salzburg, but it wasn't really players that sort of were first teamers, if you get me. I think I am confident in the players to do well. I think we will do well. I don't think there will be too much of a drop off. I don't think we're going to do what you guys did when Fergie left. That was obviously finished in 7th. I think it was 7th when Manchester United finished. Obviously, I know they finished 8th last season, which was their lowest Premier League finish. So I don't think there's going to be anything of that. But it's definitely a transition season. It's definitely a transition season for sure. But no, I don't think we'll go down the league as well. Let's just change up their style in certain games, or will it be the same style you've been playing? I think you'll change. I think you might change your style. I think that the one thing is that I really worry for is not so much about Ipswich, and I obviously said this, but Southampton, because when you watch Southampton last season, they had a few hidings, like Leicester 5-0, Sunderland 5-0. I mean, apart from obviously the Leeds games, you didn't really get any hidings last season, did you?
No. I mean, there were games where we were completely outplayed, and So West Brom away, we lost 2-0, but they absolutely battered us, and it could have been 4 or 5. But yeah, Leeds away 4-0, and at home it was a mad time. It was a mad 15 minutes. And the final score was 4-3. But it was sort of a mad, like sort of 10, 15 minutes. We've seen Mckenna change the style in League One, where that we went for a bit of a blip, and in the Championship as well. So we will do that, and I think people are seeing. You're seeing the highlights of Ipswich. You're seeing, yes, we play nice passing out, this, that, and the other, but when we need to, there is a long ball there, and there's a player off the shoulder. And again, last season we played most of our games as a 4-2-3-1. But when Mckenna joined, we kind of had a five at the back, which then transitioned into 3. When we was attacking. So there'll be lots of changes, and the thing you'll see with Mckenna this season, if for the people that really are keeping an eye on that detail, is there's lots of different. The formation is fluid throughout the game. So and a lot of our players are kind of versatile to play in multiple roles.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to be very, very intriguing to see how well you guys do. But could Portman Road be a factor whether you stay up or not? Because Portman Road is one of those grounds where the fans are right on top of you. So you will get a bit of banter. You will get a bit of, like, if you're about to take a throw, the crowd is right on top of you. But I think the key to probably keeping you up is probably making Portman Road a fortress, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That 12th man is massive in football.
Yeah.
So Portman Road, lovely stadium. The only problem is, so I sit or stand in the north stand. So where the Liverpool fans will be, you will be pitch side in one corner, and then to your right hand side, in the same stand, is where kind of a noisy or singing section is, and behind the goal in the corner is that kind of which is called the Bobby Robson stand. That's the traditional noisy, like a version of the Kop, if you would. The problem is the acoustics are awful, so it's 2-tiered, and we have a chant where we say Blue Army as an example, and we can never get that in sync. So depending on where you are in the stadium, it can be a bit seem flat at times. But over the last couple of years, everyone's getting involved, and we're seeing more and more younger fans coming in that are, kind of, I don't want to use the word ultras or whatever, but kind of supporters club, flags and flares and stuff.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere's improved massively over the last couple of years. But yeah, like you said, you will get people getting onto you. When there's been people wasting time in League One or whatever, you've got fans shouting at them, like literally you are on top of them.
Yeah. No, look, I think it's going to be a fascinating game on Saturday. So, who are the danger men to watch out for Ipswich then, Callie? Obviously, I know we've obviously mentioned Omari Hutchinson, but is there anyone else to sort of look out for?
Yeah, so I start at the back, so a couple there. So I mentioned Leif Davis before, wing back. He broke the assist records in the Championship last season. Got most assists. He did it in League One as well, but he's good defensively as well. He has got an unbelievable cross, and he will find someone in that box. So he's someone you need to. I say you need to. But yeah, I'd be, that Trent. That's going to fascinate me. Trent v Davis will be a fascinating battle. Both want to get forward, and both will have a good game there. In the middle of the park, Sammy. So Sammy Morsey, he's the engine. He makes us tick. He can turn on a diamond. He's got eyes in the back of his head. He really controls, and he's got a good level of aggression. I think the likes of Roy Keane and Graham Souness are going to love him. But like he's one of those. He will get a card, but he knows how to be disciplined, and he's got a few assists, come up with some important goals, and he will drag us up. If we need a result and it's the 80th minute, 90th minute, don't be surprised to see Sammy picking the ball, pinging it to the left wing to try and find Davis, like we did against Southampton, where we got like a 97-minute winner. You've also got Connor Chaplin. So Connor Chaplin, we signed him from Barnsley, had an unbelievable last couple of seasons, top goal scorers the season before in League One. And he's done well. He's a number 10. He finds himself spaces at the edge of the area, so he always seems to pop in the space. And there's that kind of trademark Leif Davis cutting back to the edge of the box and Connor Chaplin into the bottom corner. He's out, so he's not playing, but Nathan Broadhead is another quality player. He's a Wales international, and he's been a game changer. We signed him in a January transfer a couple of seasons ago, got us over the edge to get us promoted out of League One. But the player that probably will be playing is someone who I rate highly, Wes Burns, another Welsh international, a player we bought for £60,000 from Fleetwood. And
wow.
He's a right back turned right winger. If you don't know about Wes Burns, just go on YouTube later, type in Wes Burns v Coventry. He scored the goal of the season. You've probably seen the build up outside of the boot. That's Wes Burns scoring the goal. He's good defensively. He's very strong. He likes a goal and he can cross as well. So yeah, they're probably the main people. We've obviously made some signings like Liam Delap and people like that, but again, they've played a little. They haven't really played a lot to kind of see how good they are. And Phillips won't be playing on Saturday anyway. So, obviously you know about Calvin Phillips, but he won't play on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, unless he obviously gets international clearance, we know what transfers are like as well. Rennie said on Monday against Spurs, Steve Cooper going to pick Mavadidi instead of Tom Cannon. Liverpool last 5 managers have not won their first game in charge. Preseason don't count.
I like that
That's
stat.
not that. Well, that's a stat that will make Callie very, very happy because Vardy, Rennie, and Hannah having a chat about Vardy. Liverpool still have the third best squad in the league, so no way I see Liverpool finishing higher or lower than that. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Absolutely, indeed. Yeah, you're going to retire at the end of the season. Okay, that makes sense. It seems like he's been a Leicester forever. He's been a Leicester. Long time is Jamie Vardy. To buy my own club, only transfer fee are doing is transferring the food to the players. Dearie me. Yeah, exactly. Hannah, we traditionally struggle against newly promoted teams as well. Yes, we do. It has been said we do struggle against newly promoted teams. So that's sort of the Ipswich side of things. But last question before obviously I move on to Liverpool. What are your expectations for this season? Obviously, I know survival is obviously going to be the one to look for. But what are your expectations?
So I don't want to use the word expectations because we've okay. So even if we were to go down, right, which I don't think we will, but even if we were to go down, I think the journey we've had over the last couple of years, combined with the dross we saw for 15, 20 years before that, I think it's just about enjoying the ride, enjoying where we are, and good from a fan. I go to a lot of the away games as well, so enjoying the away days and stuff like that, and seeing that good football. Not for the one thing about these Ipswich players, there'll be people saying, okay, they may not be as skilled and there may not be as some individual talents as other teams. There will never be a lack of effort. And I think over the last couple of seasons, we've run the most in the league anyway. And we have always kind of managed to grind out a result. We played to the very last whistle. I think we got a stat where up until 100 minutes, if you went minute by minute from the 80th minute, we've scored a goal in all those minutes last season. And, we've scored. We will always play to the last thing. But I genuinely feel, and I think the expectation based on the investment we're spending and how we're doing, I think the expectation that the club will be putting on the manager and the players is we survive and we consolidate and become try and establish Premier League team over the next few years. I think we're going to surprise people.
Yeah.
And this would come to bite me in the backside, but I think we're going to finish in the top 14. 1-4, not 4. The top 14, I think we will finish. That's my prediction. And I think there's a few more signings to come in. And the other thing I'd say is, January transfer windows, we've always traditionally done well. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see us get some really established players come January as well. But yeah, top 14 is what I'm doing, but survival will be the expectation.
Yeah, I think in my Premier League predictions, I think I had you 17th. So again, it's surviving, and I mean, I think the one thing as well, win the games that are the teams that are around you, your Southamptons, your Leicesters, your Brentfords, Nottingham Forest as well. Although to be fair, I think they might be in for a bit of a yeah. I honestly think they might be in for a bit of a bit of a struggle. Wolves, Everton. If you finish above one of them, then you've done really really well. To say the very least, because I think my three to go down, I had Southampton, Leicester. I think they were sort of almost bankers for me to go down. I might be wrong. Of course. And look, predictions are predictions. You know, you can never tell what happens. But I do have a feeling for Brentford this season. I don't know why, but it's just they look like they were almost potentially going down last season. I think they could potentially go this season. But look, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what will happen in front of our eyes. Anyway, but yeah, let's talk about Liverpool. Obviously, Arne Slot, his first debut match in charge of the Reds in the Premier League. Looking from sort of an Ipswich sort of point of view, what was your feeling when Arne Slot was appointed Liverpool manager?
I guess for us, it was, and maybe naively, it was, or me anyway, it was, okay, that's good because I've not heard of him, right? Don't really know a lot about him. I know he's been in the Dutch league, but I've seen how Erik ten Hag has fared in the Premier League as well. And then combining that with we're playing you on the first game, and it's never going to be the right time to play Liverpool or Man City, you know, or even Arsenal now who are coming into, you know, really being a good team. But if we can play you guys on Arne Slot's first game, put a bit of pressure at home, you know, things don't go well. There isn't that, you know, or this is more hope. You know, there's not going to be that same relationship. You know, Klopp, you could see famously had excellent man management skills. He put the arm around the player and all the rest of it. He's not going to have that kind of relationship with these players. So if things aren't going right, if we can just, you know, if we can get a goal early and then just kind of frustrate you, and then, you know, how's that going to react? So yeah, for me, it was like not really heard of him. I guess then you're looking forward to the fixture, and I'll be honest, the lack of transfer activity around Liverpool was kind of made it a bit easier because you hear all the rumours over the summer and you think, oh, bloody hell, you know, now you got this player and that player. And don't get me wrong, Liverpool's 11 that you put out will be strong and, you know, an amazing team. It's still like, well, we saw last season where you didn't get results, and someone said in the comment against, you know, the newly promoted teams and stuff like that. So there's a blueprint there. If we can use that, you know, then it's almost like for like, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Look, our record against newly promoted sides has not been the best recently, to say the very, very least. But no, look, I think when he was appointed, it was almost like, okay, it's a new man, a new style. Look, replacing Klopp is always going to be very, very difficult. Klopp did so well as Liverpool manager. You know, won us the Premier League, the only Liverpool manager to, you know, do that. You know, win us the, you know, he won every single trophy that was at his disposal of, you know, Club World Cup, you know, the European Super Cup, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League, Champions League. You know, he won it all. So I think going from a manager from who, you know, was heavy metal. We all know that he was heavy metal football, was Jurgen Klopp. But Arne Slot, what I've seen pre-season wise, the signs are good. The signs are good. The players are definitely getting into his ideas. I was at the Sevilla game on Sunday there. Played really, really well. And I think as well, yes, it's a bit of a new sort of style. It seems to be more build up from the midfield to the attackers, which I think is quite interesting. Obviously, sometimes through Klopp it was always out to the wingers, but it looks like we're going to be like playing through midfield now, and I really like that. I really like what we've been doing as well. So I am confident. I am confident for this season, and look,
As long
it's going
as
to be a very, very difficult time for Arne Slot because, as you say, Erik ten Hag, fair play to him for winning the FA Cup because I think a lot of people expected Erik ten Hag to lose his job at Manchester United last season, but he didn't. I think Liverpool will give him time. I think Liverpool are one of those clubs that do definitely give managers time, unlike your Chelseas, your Watfords. We will give managers time. I know it didn't go very well for Roy Hodgson back in the 2010s, but yeah, we won't mention that because that was awful. But no, I think we do give managers time. So if it doesn't go right this season, we'll let him build a team next season and then see what happens. But I cannot see Arne Slot not lasting the season as Liverpool manager. I can definitely say that. I think the one manager to worry about if you're a Chelsea supporter is definitely Maresca, because we just don't know what Chelsea are like. They are a team that are buying every Tom, Dick, and Harry right now. Like you just don't know which Chelsea teams gonna turn up. So I think we'll give Arne Slot time, and I think the team that played, against Sevilla is probably likely to be sort of the team that maybe starts at the weekend. But we'll get into team selections very very shortly. But yeah, what sort of games are you looking forward to this season? Is it the games against the big teams like your Cities, your Liverpools, your Uniteds, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea? What games are you looking forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of those sad people that on Twitter put how many grounds I've been to or whatever out of the 94. So I think, definitely looking forward to ticking off these Premier League grounds. It is the big, so yeah, Anfield. I've used to go to Liverpool quite a lot, the city. So I used to go past Anfield and stuff like that. Never been inside. So again, looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to. We have been to Man United when we played them in the cup and a few times in the Prem. I went there as well because unfortunately some of my family are Man United fans. And the other game.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah. The other game, probably, obviously, you got the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I personally don't like London, but going to the London games, although I'm looking forward to going to like Emirates and places like that, I just hate London. Excuse my, I'm sorry if there's people from London in the chat or whatever, but not a fan of it. But the other one is Wolves. So my family, majority of my family are in Wolverhampton, and they're Wolves fans as well. And again, seeing how Wolves progress from League One to Championship to Premier League, went to Europe as well. That's always been the kind of, in my mind, the kind of the blueprint or whatever that we want to emulate. So that will be a good one. But yeah, I'll be honest, all 19 games is what I'm looking forward to going. Even Bournemouth and Brentford and Newcastle, all the way up in bloody northeast or whatever. It's just looking forward to them all, to be honest.
Yeah, what's your longest trip this season?
So it'd be slightly different for me. So I'm based in the Midlands. I was born in Ipswich. I moved to the Midlands when I was younger. So I think for Ipswich fans, it will probably be, I guess, either Newcastle. Or maybe even Liverpool, Man United. Just trying to think, is there anyone else northwest? But again, to Liverpool fans that are travelling down to the game tomorrow, the A14 is a nightmare. So whatever Google Maps or Waze tells you, slap an extra 45 minutes to an hour on it because it's 2 lanes. It's a nightmare. Give yourself time.
Well, you've Yes, I think there will be a lot of Liverpool supporters travelling down to Portman Road. Yeah, it's. I mean, look, the Premier League season starts tomorrow. It's going to be fascinating to see. Chris says, "Well, I will ask you about this. What's your thoughts on VAR?"
Yeah. Um. So I don't have any issues with VAR, with VAR, whatever, and I'm not against VAR. I think the problem is the people using VAR and setting whatever the threshold or whatever keeps changing game by game. So I think as long as you've got the technology is not the problem, it's the people using it.
Yeah,
Um, you need a different type of mode. Like you don't necessarily need to have referees doing that. You need people that know the rules, but you need people that know about using the tech as well. So I think it's going to bite us in the backside, definitely. And if you ask me this, when we play before we play you away later on in the season, I'm sure I'll be hating it. But yeah, it's the VAR itself. The tech is fine, but the people are shit. Excuse my French. And it's something we got to get used to. That's how long we've been away from the Premier League. VAR's come, and again, we haven't used it, so
yeah,
we'll see. They've got just in the comment about the semi-automated thing. So I saw that during the Euros, and I thought it looked okay, but then there were some decisions where I was like, I'm not quite sure on that. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure. But
That's going to be very, very interesting. The semi-automated offsides. I was like you. I thought it worked pretty well at the Euros, and then you were seeing sort of the decisions coming in. It was like,
we'll see.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure there. But no, I think look, it's going to be yeah, VAR is VAR. I think you're absolutely right. I think the people running it don't have a clue what they're doing as well. So yeah, that's something not to look forward to. But look, you're in the Premier League. You're here
Yeah,
to stay. It's one of those. It's one of those, and VAR is here to stay. Unfortunately, so we are at the point of the show where we do go into starting 11. So what would you be your starting 11 for Ipswich on Saturday? Saturday.
Um, so I would assume we're going to play a tried and tested formation of 4-2-3-1.
Hmm.
So we would have Muric in goal. Right back would be Ben Johnson. Left back would be Leif Davis. Centre back, you're going to start. So Jacob Greaves, a player that we signed from Hull, he's going to go to the very top, and he'll play for England soon. Um, and I think Luke Wolfenden. It'll either be Luke. Yeah, let's go Luke Wolfenden. No, actually, let me double down. It'll be Twanzebe. So Axel Twanzebe in the middle with Jacob Greaves, and then Davis and Johnson. In the middle, I think we'll have Sam Morsey, obviously captain, and Jack Taylor.
Yep.
On the left wing, we'll have Amari Hutchinson. In the 10 role, Connor Chaplin. On the right wing, Wes Burns. And up front, Liam Delap. And I think there'll be people like Massimo Luongo who can come in and kind of shore up things a bit more defensive. But I've just seen what Chris has put in the chat, and I'm just looking at the names. I'm like, bloody hell.
Yeah, I've just seen Chris's team. So he's gone Allison, Trent, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Simica. I absolutely agree with those five. I'll say that. Gravenberch, Mac. I think, if I'm being honest, Chris, I think it's going to be the exact same team that played Sevilla. So it was Allison, Trent, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Simicas, Grav, Maka, Sobozloy, Diaz, Jota, Salah. I think that will be the team. And look, it's going to be very, very interesting to say the very, very least.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, Hannah's asked is Curtis injured. I don't know. He wasn't pictured in the training pictures today. I didn't see Cade Gordon because he's obviously going to be going to Swansea. I believe he's going to Swansea on loan. I've not seen I didn't see Jarosz, but then again, you got Kelleher, you got Allison, you've got the other young lad as well, Davis, um, as well. But I do know that Jarosz is definitely going to be third choice. But I didn't see Curtis. I did not see Curtis Jones in the training pictures. So maybe we'll obviously hear tomorrow for. We'll obviously maybe hear tomorrow about injuries. Obviously from Arne Slot's first press conference is 9:30 tomorrow. So that would be very, very interesting. Nippun's asking, will Nunes start? If I'm being honest, Nippun, I think he'll start from the bench. I think, as we've seen this pre-season so far, again, Robertson hasn't had much of a pre-season. Nunes hasn't had much of a pre-season. Gakpo's definitely not had much of a pre-season. So I think it's going to be. I think it'll be the exact same team that plays that played Sevilla will play it. So I'll go Ali, Trent, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Maka, Grav, Szoboszlai, Jota, Salah, and Diaz as well. So yeah, I bet you must be thinking, this is a very, very world class team we're coming up against.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, I'm a football fan. I don't, Mo Salah, right? I've said for many years one of the best players. I know he's coming towards the end of his career, he's getting on a bit and all the rest of it, but what a player he is. Trent you've got in there as well. Even Szoboszlai, is that how you pronounce his name?
Szoboszlai, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I kind of paid a bit of note to him because he was given the number 8 last season, and obviously that's the Gerrard number, and
yeah.
I mean, from what I saw, and again, I only saw highlights. I didn't think he was amazing, but then in the Euros, he was phenomenal. Same with Cody Gakpo, again, phenomenal during the Euros.
Yeah.
You're just looking at them, and it's just like these are world-class players. And I know you guys. There's different levels of expectations and stuff. So yeah, it's just mad to see that all these players, and hopefully we to get something out of the game. But although I think you said you struggle sometimes on the 12:30, so do we. We don't do too well on a 12:30 on a Saturday. So it may be, who knows, a 0-0 would be great. I'll take a 0-0 now. So yeah.
We didn't do badly, actually. I think had a couple of wins, and I think we had a couple of draws. I don't think we lost on a 12:30. So yeah, I think that could be very, very intriguing to see the very, very least. But it feels like the Premier League are like, you're not going away from the 12:30. We had Klopp at 12:30. We might as well have Arne Slot at 12:30. Yes, on TNT Sports, of course. Let's go through some of your comments. Szoboszlai could well happen. There was a toss-up. Yeah, I think there's a toss-up between him and Elliott, to be fair. If Gakpo starts at the moment, especially the Diaz speculation, yes, I agree. Doesn't really help with his dad coming out and saying that he's always been a Barcelona fan all of his life. It's a little bit tongue in cheek, I've got to say there. But Diaz certainly is going to go to Manchester City. Let me just say that. But by the way, if anyone listened to the Totally Premier League podcast, me and Christian Anderson, we were speaking about this. We're speaking about Diaz, and the one thing that Diaz has to do more for me is get goals. I think that is the one thing I will say about Luis Diaz. Looks great on the ball, looks great going at opponents, but the one thing he needs to start doing is getting goals and assists to his game, and that is what sets him out. But look, Diaz, Gakpo, if those two can play very, very well, and if those two can get at least 10 goals this season, that's a successful season for me. Because you're playing out on the wing. Salah's Salah, so I think you probably expect Salah to probably be the main marksman. And if Jota can stay fit, he's lethal. He is very, very lethal. Didn't get that much of a chance at the Euros, so I think a clean and firing Jota is one thing I would love to see. So does keep his place? Was brilliant since coming in the team. Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic. Tsimikas has impressed in pre-season was my reasoning too. Yeah, he has. been the biggest surprise for me as well. I think he has been very, very good, and obviously Robertson not playing as well has obviously allowed Simicast to, play there as well. Should when they get off to a good start. Well, Nigel, we'll see what happens. We'll see what you can never take anything for granted when it comes to football match, especially a newly promoted side. 12:30 Saturday lunchtime. So difficult. So difficult. Let's hope Gravy Birch this season. I hope so. As well. Mo Salah is among the best I've seen at Liverpool, honestly, and I'm old enough to remember Robbie Fowler and Stevie's era. Oh yeah, I remember Stevie G. I remember Robbie Fowler as well.
Old enough. I remember Robbie Fowler.
Yeah.
So I'm 37, man. You know what I mean? We're not that old.
I'm 32, so I know. I know that. I know from Robbie Fowler and Stevie G days as well. 3-goal win. Yeah. Well, hopefully, Dan. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. People go over the top with us getting 12:30s, and it's funny because we will. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? That is the thing. As well. Hello, Mark Elliott. Hello, Mark Forrest. Hope you're well. Hoping Elliott is on fire too. Nunez needs to find Uruguay boots too. Yeah, he certainly does. It'd be nice to see United lose the first game. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't that be fantastic? So, without further ado, final thing: score predictions. What are you going to go for?
I'm going to back my team. I have to back my team. I think we'll concede. At times last season, we saw that our defence was a bit like a chocolate fire guard. But one of the things we always do is we do manage to find goals and we will manage to score. Every team's got a weakness, and if anyone's going to exploit a weakness, I think Mckenna's going to be able to find it. I'm going to back us for a 2-1 win. No, actually, 3-2 Ipswich win with a injury time winner, right? And so yeah, I'm going for that.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the same score prediction I've had all week, and I'm going 3-1 Liverpool. I think you will score. I think you'll make it very, very difficult for us. I just got a feeling, though. I think you will probably tire towards probably the end of the game, and I think that might be a bit of a sort of a learning curve for the for us to Mckenna and obviously the Premier League. But look, it is going to be a fantastic game on Saturday. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I do think Salah scores. Salah usually does score on the opening day of the season, so I do think he will score. I'm going to give Jota a goal because I think Jota is absolutely firing all cylinders at the moment. Him as well. For you guys, I think you might score from a corner. So one of your centre backs, I'll go for Jacob Greaves to score on his debut. There you go. Jacob Greaves to score on his debut. And the third goal, I'm going to go Cody Gakpo. I am going to go Cody Gakpo. So I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for 3-1. Guys, get your predictions in before we do shoot off as well. Mark says the 12:30 is bad for people going to the game, I feel. It is. But then again, look at last season. You had like kickoffs, I think, about 7 o'clock or something like that. Who knows? But one thing that is going to be different this season, though, 75 minutes before a game, you'll get the team news, not 60. So think of the game on Saturday. It would usually be 11:30. You usually get your team news about 11:30. This time, it's going to be 11:15. So, bit of a difference, to say the very, very least. Yes, it is on TNT Sports, Nigel. TNT Sports. So, yeah. Nigel going 4-0, going big. Chris has gone Ipswich from Liverpool 3. That's a close 3-1, not an easy 3-1. Yeah, I don't think there's ever I don't think it's ever an easy 3-1. And I'm about to get to who from Liverpool also. Well, obviously, Callie just said the A14 is a nightmare road to go on. So, yeah. Travel down. Nil says just Hannah. But I can really be surprised. Would not be too surprised by that. 3-1 says Mark. 3-1 Mark. Yep, 3-1. 3-1. Velvishwan is in. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. 3-0 Liverpool, Diaz, Salah, and Jota. Oh, clean sheet. Wouldn't mind that. I don't think Gakpo plays. He was rusty against Palace and missed chances. Probably comes off the bench, to be honest, Velvishwan. I think he comes to the bench. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay, awesome. It's going to be an easy game. No offense to it, it's just going to be a relaxing. I wouldn't say that. There certainly is no easy games. Certainly no easy games when it comes to the Premier League. But Callie, thank you very much for coming on to the channel. I really do appreciate you coming on. Yeah, tell the people where they can find you and where they can find your very, very good channel.
Yeah, so my Twitter is just there, so it's Yam Yam Cali. There's a link. My YouTube is Cali Bisla, or if you click on the Twitter, it's on there. So do match day vlogs. Planning to do all the Premier League games next season, so do the vlogs on there. Do a few little highlight reels and stuff on there. But yeah, and if you're around at Portman Road on Saturday, you know, come see me. You want to jump on the channel and give your thoughts, then let me know. And just to anyone traveling as well to Ipswich. Ipswich is it is a family orientated club. It's a community. There's a fan zone there, so I think I need to double check that, but I think that's going to be available to the away fans. And then the away fans, there's a pub by the train station called the Station Pub, Station Hotel, I think it is. And again, it's a short walking distance, but yeah, any Ipswich fans you'll see there, you know, everyone's friendly, approachable. It's proper community, and you won't get any trouble. But even hopefully everyone after 90 minutes is happy because we've snuck a win against the mighty Liverpool.
Absolutely. No, it's been a pleasure to have you on. And yeah, please go and check out Callie's channel. I will leave it in the description after the video as well. And also do check out the preview I did with him as well. I did a wee preview last night as well. Let's just say there were a few technical issues. Let me just say there were a few technical issues, but yeah, anything can happen when you're recording or when you're live. Anyway, but let us just say the final few comments before we do go. Hannah says, I ain't jinxing this game by predicting a big win. That's absolutely fine, Hannah. That is absolutely fine at all. Be nice to see our players just play. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. And I just says, thanks, guys. Chris says, I'll be missing the game. I'm watching my local team Carlisle at home to Barrow in the Cumbrian Derby already. Cumbrian Derby already. Wow, that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, good luck to Carlisle. Barrow never beaten us, and they've won their games so far. If we lose, Paul Simpson's job untenable already. Yeah, well, obviously we've seen Ryan Lowe lose his job at Preston, which was quite surprising. Yeah. I've got to say. Hannah says, thanks everyone. Chris says, great stream as always. Thank you very much. All good advice. And Nigel says, may the best team win. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 48 hours away. 48 hours away from the beginning of the Premier League for obviously Ipswich and Liverpool as well. And yes, Manchester United Fulham is the opening game tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. And yeah, Premier League football, that's back. The Championship's been back. League One's been back. League Two has been back.
This team is here. This team is hitting the Premier League.
Exactly. Ipswich are hitting the Premier League. Liverpool are going to be playing as well. And as Mark says, thanks everyone. Let's all hope we get to laugh at Manchester United tomorrow. No offense to any Manchester United fans, but yes, that would be very, very funny. But until then, it is goodbye from me and it's goodbye from Callie. And we will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.